Welcome to the Vision Alignment Show, where we talk about our core beliefs, our core values need to be aligned with our vision. And there's a lot of people out there that know what their core beliefs are and their core values and their core strengths, and they have them aligned with their vision. So we have a number of guests that are coming on. Oh my gosh, it's going to be awesome. Now, for the next few weeks, I'm going to be traveling, but I'm still going to try to do the show. So this is important, but I know what my core beliefs are. I know what my core strengths are. And somebody else that knows his core beliefs, his core strengths is our guest today. And our guest today is somebody that you've probably not met. He's from the West Coast. It's early out there, but he also is a good guy. So I want to bring on our guest today, Mr. Colt Briner. Good morning, Colt.
Oh, good morning, Brian. It's great to be here. Thank you for the welcome. Yes, a little early, but you get up early and you can accomplish great things, right?
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you.
For sure, man. Right on.
So, Colt, tell me, when is your first recollection of knowing your vision?
Oh, yeah. So it feels interesting to say this because I'm 45. It happened 3 years ago. I feel like maybe that should have happened sooner, but this was my experience working with a company. I was their chief communications officer at the time. And what we had done with that company was we made the transition to a purpose-driven model of business, right? As you talk about a purpose-driven life, we did this in the context of a business. And stepping back and having recognized what it is that we had done for that company, for the employees in it, for the clients they work with, for the communities they impact, that's when you have that full body yes experience in life and say, that's what I want to do. I want to make that happen for more companies. I want to be a part of helping the world transition to a different model of business. And it was clear, bright as day, clear for me that's what my vision was. And I stepped out of my role as, it was a phenomenal role as chief communications officer for a company that was growing like a juggernaut, because my vision was more important to me than, the financial possibilities that existed with that company. I just knew exactly what I had to do.
Awesome. If you want to hear more, stay right there. Colt, what a great story.
Right on.
Man, it's amazing. So how do you do that? How do you help companies from that perspective, finding their purpose?
Yeah, well, it's kind of, it's a multi-stage process. Some people feel like, once we've got the pretty slogan on the wall that communicates our vision, we got there. But really, it's about fully operationalizing purpose into every aspect of a business and a company. It starts with values, then it goes to vision, then it goes to mission, then it goes to strategy, and then finally to individual measurable actions. And it's every role, it's every department, it's every function. Transitioning a business to a purpose-driven model is about so many things, but really it has to be the leadership of that organization that makes the decision of what that means to them. Somebody like me as a facilitator or a consultant can come in with frameworks and models. But that purpose has to be an organic creation from that organization. What are they out to accomplish in the world? What is the impact that they seek to create? And then to take that and reverse engineer it into every function can look different for every company, but it can be things like purpose is going to be at the top of our agenda. Purpose is going to be how we measure the success of our organization. Like how are we manifesting this impact out in the world? Purpose is part of the job description. It's part of how we measure and reward our employees. It's like the list could be 100 things long, but again, it has to be up to that organization. I certainly have many suggestions, but I tend to kind of keep to myself when I leave it to every organization and their leadership to say, what is it that I can be doing, and how can I support my staff, communicate with my staff, and support my staff in affecting this change out in the world. So, it could be a lot of different things, but it's so exciting to see what happens, to witness what happens in an organization when they make that transition.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. So, Colt, I'm going to give you the floor here for a little bit. So tell us your origin story, if you will.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I could do it. I could try to give you the tight version of my origin story. Grew up in Seattle, went to school in Salem, Oregon, Willamette University. I had started my career by creating my own company. Was Coltronics, was built on novelty electronics products, which eventually got knocked off by the Oriental Trading Company catalog. At which point I quickly decided, oh, okay, probably should step out of that business because there's no way I can compete with these guys. And then I had a series of executive roles. So started off with a company in faster than real-time streaming technology. Then I got into ed tech technology. This is where you have like the flipped classroom approach to education, which was really a fun and exciting space. Then into big data analytics, machine learning, that type of thing. And then over into the healthcare technology space, specifically the back office of healthcare. And all along the while, taking roles as the evangelist, the head of marketing, communications, helping to spread a vision, share ideas, get people excited about things. So the last role that I had as an employee was chief communications officer for a company based out of Ohio. And this was where we took the company to a purpose-driven model, recognizing that the people who were in this office, which was largely like an outsourced services provider, didn't really have a clear sense of the impact of their work on the world. So what we did was we undertook a series of campaigns to create visibility for how their work as individuals was rolling up to create an impact in the world. These people supported hospitals and health systems from cubicles that were hundreds or thousands of miles away from those clinics and those healthcare providers. And we wanted them to see that the work that they were doing on a daily basis was leading to better results and outcomes for patients, people who they had never seen, communities that they had never set foot in, but were really having an impact on. So we created a lot of visibility internally and externally for how that work wasn't just delivering on a contract between a vendor and a healthcare provider, but it was delivering better health in people's lives. And man, the impact on that company was incredible. The impact on how they did business. They grew from 2,000 people to 5,000 people over the course of about 2 years.
What?
And yeah, over that 2 years, about 60% of the contracts that were written in the United States for back office outsourcing in healthcare, 60% went to that company.
Wow.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Wow. That must be a great feeling. How does it make you feel?
It's that full body yes. It's that I get it now. I know what I need to do. I see the alignment of what I believe in, what I'm capable of, and what I want to do, just like rolling out right in front of me. It's like the path just opens up through the woods, and you're like, that's where I need to go, right there.
And that was what, 5 years ago?
3. Yeah.
Wow. And this is your job now. You do this.
This is what I do. Yeah. I do talks, I do facilitation, I do workshops, I do retreats. I help business leadership teams transition their companies to purpose-driven business models.
And how do you market yourself?
Well, podcast is one way I market myself, so people
Cool.
become aware of what I'm doing. I'm pretty active in submitting, talks to conferences where people can hear about what I'm doing and what they can do.
Yeah.
I've been creating a book. I write pretty consistently on LinkedIn,
Nice.
providing guidance on how to succeed with this stuff. I post how-tos, best practices, tactics, executables. I'm just trying to create visibility for this stuff because I really believe in it.
Awesome. Hey, and by the way, we're not first connections on LinkedIn, so we need to fix that.
Well, damn. Okay, I'll take a note on
that. Yeah. So tell me your name of your company, Scrappy AF.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one way that I help to weed out people who maybe I wouldn't want to work with anyway. The reason it's Scrappy AF is because in every role that I've had, I just mentioned the history of my career. I was in early and mid-stage startup organizations and generally responsible for, the marketing, brand awareness in the marketplace, growth, et cetera. And it's like, okay, here we come into this industry, Colt. There's incumbents that have deep pockets who've been here for 20 years, 30 years. They're spending millions of dollars to create visibility and capture market. I want you to go after that and get us XYZ% of market share in the next 18 months. Be like, all right, how much money do I have to work with? They'd be like, money to work with. No, just go get it done. So, in every role that I've had, I've had to figure out how to do things with scrappy tactics and creative execution. And I just, kind of reflected on my career and recognized, we have in each company that I've worked with, we've captured market share from deep pocketed industry incumbents by just being scrappy about it. And I recognize that this has, built sort of a capacity in my methods, in my process, in my commitment to the projects that I undertake that's made that possible. So why not own it? Scrappy AF. There you go.
So I'm a dad. I'm a 55, almost 55. You're an old dad. I know what AF means, but I'm sure you've run into people that didn't know what it means, right?
You do. You run into that, and I would say here, I let them know what it means, and you find out like, okay, they either dig it, and they're like, I totally get that. That works. And initially, they're, what I find is initially people were like, oh, you're cutting yourself off of opportunity by taking a name like that, and I understood that, and I got where that came from, that philosophy, that thinking. I know it, and I appreciate people giving me that cautionary, but it has ended up being the opposite. People, I mean, when just the name of your company is something that people talk about, I think you might be winning.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. I love it.
On. Thank you. Haha, right on.
So what is you've obviously you've relied on other people for advice. You've relied on people to help you. What's the best advice you've ever gotten, or what is the main reason for your success?
Wow. So I could probably answer both of those. I think one of the biggest factors in my success has just been the exercise of setting goals. This is the idea of, what have you decided is next? Have you taken time to vision what's possible in your life? I mean, we have access to incredible capabilities now. I mean, things that only billion-dollar corporations had access to 20 years ago, every individual now has access to production capabilities, talent, capital, audience, reach. I mean, individuals can do limitless things. So it's like, if the last time you set goals for yourself was 5 years ago, do it again. What's possible has grown enormously since that time. And it's this exercise of setting goals that has made all the difference. And as far as the best advice, I'd say the best advice I got was to make everything that you do in your job an opportunity to build your own portfolio. So if you get a project or you've been tasked with some outcome, go after it like you're building your own portfolio in that work, right? So yes, you're getting paid, you have a job, and that's a benefit in its own, but you can get a double benefit out of everything that you lean into in your job. And it's, yes, you're elevating the success of that company, but you can create a really powerful portfolio of projects, deliverables, impact, etc. If that's the mindset that you take to your own work. And that has been hugely impactful for me. That's oriented me to be thinking, okay, if I take on this project and want to put it on a shelf afterwards and point out and go, look at that, and look at that one right there, right? Like, what do I need to do to turn this into something that I will put on the shelf afterwards and say, well, here's a case study I want to tell you about, right? So any project that you're undertaking in your work, I would say, has an aspect of that opportunity in it. Look at it that way, and you'll start to create very powerful things.
That's good advice. I mean, I put myself in that situation, and I realize that there's probably things that I've done, they're half-hearted.
Oh, sure.
It's good advice to have to be able to do something like that. So I think of LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn a lot.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm putting stuff in there that really is, I'm proud of.
Yeah.
So similar to what you're talking about here. So you mentioned goals, though. Is there a process you use for goals?
That's funny. I guess I don't really have a clear process, but there is an element of guidance that I have when people are coming up with goals, which is take the boundaries off. What you could think about as possible. And as I walk around with my son, I just keep trying to expand the sphere of the universe of possibilities that he's considering as he builds his own goals. And I don't mean to say that dreaming enormously is the correct way to dream, but dreaming unlimitedly is the correct way to dream. And that's a fine distinction, but I don't mean to say that, I want him to become, a captain of industry or, whatever it may be. I just want to make sure that he's not dreaming with any kind of a limit as he does so. And this can be things like, it's like anything really is possible. And it's just like, there's people here to make whatever dream you have happen because that's what their dream is, right? So that could be somebody who's in private equity, right? And if you look at a building downtown, it's like, I'm not into sky rises. That couldn't be me. I'm not a trillionaire kind of thing. But wait a minute. If you had a really cool idea, if you said, what would be so cool about that building would be if we did X and Y and Z, wouldn't that just be so cool? It'd be like, yeah, that would be so cool. And it'd be like, but I don't have $1 billion. But like, somebody else does. Somebody else does who's looking for a really passionately driven person to make a vision come to life. And there's people with production capability, and there's people with knowledge, and there's people with capital, and there's people, they all just need to come together, right? So, and they're all looking for that dream to make it happen. So if there's something that drives you, believe in it, go for it, and find the aspects that you may be missing to manifest that into reality. Whatever it is, dream as big as you can, as you wish to, and go.
So you back up there. You said some very, very cool stuff. There's people with passion.
Yeah.
People with knowledge.
Yes.
People with capital.
Yes.
What other kind?
Production capability. And there's people with resources. So like production capability, a good example would be, you may not have a CNC machine, but now these days you can rent a CNC machine for an hour and turn a block of aluminum into the vision that you have for whatever it is. You may have a concept. You need a chemical engineer to come up with a brand new cleaning product that's just amazing, but you're not a chemical engineer. You could get a chemical engineer for half a day, right? This used to be stuff that only billion-dollar corporations can do, but now you can do. You need somebody to write a score for you because you created a video. Yeah, that person's out there too. You need someone to write a script for you because you have a concept for a character. That person's out there. Everything is at your fingertips now. And if you already know that, if you know that you have access to everything and you're not where you want to be, the one thing that you may be missing is accountability for yourself. And there are people out there who will play the role of coach for you, right? Who can keep you accountable to the goals that you know you're capable of with the capabilities that you know you have access to. It's all there. It's all there. Just lean into the dream and make it happen.
Yeah, that's rather self-humbling, or
Yeah.
I mean, for me, because I'm not where I want to be.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. I'm glad we're recording this, because this is really good. But I'm sure that other people out there as well feel as though, you know, they're not where they want to be. They're not doing what they want to do. And they realize that, hey, something's missing here.
Sure.
Why am I not getting what I want?
Yes.
So I think you just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. You know, it's like, think about what it is you might be missing. I would be here if I just had X. Okay. I mean, like, every time I've heard whatever X is, I've been able to find it, right? It's there. It's out there. It's somebody who wants to provide it. That's their passion. That's their space of success. That's what they want to be doing. You know, whether it's renting out equipment, renting out talent, providing capital, getting you in front of audience. I mean, think about the difference between 20 years ago and now having environments like LinkedIn, like Kickstarter, you know, places to create visibility for your ideas and your passions. We're just so enormously empowered compared to where things were just a few years ago.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. You're right on. Wow. So you've got a lot of stuff going on. You're doing very well. You're very in line with your vision. But what are some of the obstacles or challenges you're still working on?
Wow. Okay. Self-doubt. I mean, it might sound like this guy's on the power road. Yeah. It might sound like I know exactly what I'm doing and everything's great. Self-doubt's with me. Self-doubt comes in a lot, right? So if you're going to continue to create, you're going to continue to put your energy into manifesting a vision, to presenting, to speaking, to facilitating, to whatever it is. I mean, it's there with me, right? Like, I don't know if that's good enough or if that's going to work, or it's almost like if you don't experience self-doubt, you're probably not growing. And it's even as I am creating now, it has become this like the time looped back on itself almost, because even as I'm creating things, let's say it'd be a new keynote, I will look forward to when I look back upon this keynote and think, I see so many ways I could have done this better. And then it will be better the next time, right?
So do you kind of compartmentalize self-doubt?
Really good question. And it's like any part of myself that I reject, I find that creates bad things. So you could think of it almost like in a physically manifested metaphor where I see that self-doubt in myself and I just go like this. Come here. Yeah, come here. I appreciate you. Come on. Yeah, you're okay. And I just like, I recognize that part of me functioning and I just give it love. I know what you are. I'm here with you. You're here with me. Let's hang out and keep moving forward. Right. And then the other thing for obstacles is this, I would say the discomfort of stillness is an obstacle that I have. And people have looked at me and just marveled, man, he's so driven. I wish I was that driven. But some significant amount of my drive comes from a discomfort in being still. And it's like, it's like, be careful what you wish for, right? So if you ask the genie, I want to be as productive as that guy. Okay. Well, the reason that guy's so productive might be because stillness is really uncomfortable for that person. Is that something that you want? So an obstacle for me is really finding the balance. I love that I am very productive. I've been able to generate many things in my life that I have sought to generate. But I have struggled with finding peace and stillness in not doing. Going from a human doing to a human being is sort of the obstacle that has been central in my life. And I work on it on a daily basis.
Wow. So things you work on. You also have blind spots, right? We all have blind spots.
Yeah.
Who helps you to see your blind spots?
Oh, countless people. Is this going to be like the Oscars where I pull out the list? But here's what I'd say. I mean, certainly my partner helps me with my blind spots. I have mentors in my life that help me with my blind spots. My son, my family, my friends, my community. I'm so grateful for a really rich community of individuals in my life, and couples. Here's what I want to say about this piece, which is I encountered maybe 2 years ago this idea of relational sources of resilience. And what this means is and I think they divide it into eight sections. They have when you find that you have reached your capacities, where do you get support? And this can come from in 8 categories. They have support in humor, empathy, work surge, politics, pushback, vision, perspective, and purpose. So I encountered this article called "What are your top relational sources of resilience?" And it says a well-developed network of relationships can help you rebound from setbacks. Identify the spheres that are most important to you. Are you falling short in some categories? And what I love about this is this creates a network rather than a single point of support in my life, where I recognize, okay, yeah, this is an area where I actually need a little bit more resilience or support in my own sense of resilience. So I'm gonna find an individual or a community or whatever to support me in this way, and then another one to support me in that way. And this has been enormously rewarding for me to have like a full-on network. And when it's like, you know what I need right now? I need somebody who's good at giving me, like, checking my perspective. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call this person. You know what I need right now is somebody who can just make me laugh. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call this person, right? So just kind of being aware of your own relational sources of resilience, and then having that capacity for introspection. This is where I'm kind of needing something right now. And then match them up, right? Go after it, have that phone call, take that lunch, get that coffee.
Yeah. Man, you are talking our language here. This is phenomenal.
Right on.
I love this so much. Wow. Incredible conversation. You've given us so much to think about.
Well, right on, Brian.
This is great. I'm looking forward to having you come back if you will.
Yeah, I will for sure.
Okay, cool. Can you do me a favor and send me that article, and I'll post in the show notes here for comments for everybody.
Yes, I will do it. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, there's lots of good things that you've said already. So, wow. And what time are we at? Oh my gosh, we're already. Oh, incredible. I don't know where to go with this. I know you're coming back. But
yeah, I'm coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a part of NSA, and NSA, National Speakers Association. That is a group where other like-minded people doing similar things. So they're speakers. They do this largely out of passion, but some of them are doing it for other reasons. But I think how much some of those people need to hear this story and the things you've mentioned. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say about this. I'm sending this to their Facebook page. Hopefully they get a chance to review it. But there's a lot of good information here. So thank you.
Oh yeah, man, right on. I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this is great. What is it you would leave our guests with, our audience with, if you're to go now, and you are to go now?
I leave you with encouragement to lean into what you're capable of creating, right? And this is where you are on the lookout for when your entire being is saying yes about something that you find rewarding, and let that be your guidepost. Let that be your indicator of what your purpose and passion really is. Find out how you can lean into making more of your life about the experiences of the full body yes. Look to the resources that you now have access to online, through the internet, through the amazing technologies that are present with us today. And anything that you identify that you're missing, I give you my word, someone's out there looking for the person looking for it, right? Because that's what their passion is.
Yeah.
And then just stay consistent about the vision, right? This is, say it out loud. This is what I do. This is who I am. And let the universe deliver, because man, it sure does.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Colt. I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you, Brian.
This is awesome. And you will be back. So look forward to that. Thank you very much. If you would hang out in the green room for me.
Sure.
I'll be back in a little bit.
All right.
Thanks. All right. See you. Oh my goodness. I know I say this after every episode, but that episode was phenomenal. Really, really enjoyed having Colt come on the show. Just very thankful, grateful to have him. We're going to do great things in the future. We're definitely going to have him back. We're going to have more conversations coming up next week. Well, next week is going to be that would be the 11th. And the 11th is a national holiday. I don't know if you knew that or not, but that's my birthday. So a big holiday that day. I don't know if I'll go live on that day, but I'll go live soon after that if at all possible. So anyway, want to make sure you're aware of that. So yes, I'm 55 on next Monday. So that's out there. But anyway, other good shows coming up after this. Look forward to seeing more about all that. But just as always, to remember this, and remember this always: if you can do anything, keep one eye on the road. Take care.